Anyway. So, one of the things I wanted to fucking talk about, I was thinking while I played the game, is like, what? Let me open a notepad so I can organize my thoughts. One of the things I thought about was like, I tried to think about games that I like. Like, games that I like that are, like, eSports, right? eSport games that I like. And I was thinking a lot about games that I fucking love, that, like, fucking made my brain, like, hard. They gave me a brain erection, okay? StarCraft, obviously. StarCraft 1, 1 and 2. I love watching them. I could think about them for hours. I love controlling them. They're so fucking dense. You could just sit there and learn for years. And you just, like, it's like the value proposition is insane. Like, if you just put your brain on it, you'll gain knowledge forever, infinitely. It goes all the way up. Fucking Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering, I think the skill gap is actually a little bit, like, it's not as infinite, but it's still really fucking high. And there's 25 years of, like, matches and history and knowledge and card games, and, like, the game is literally always evolving. So, like, even though, like, you could be theoretically perfect at the game, but the game is always evolving, so you have to evolve along with it. So it's just, like, it's similar in that way. Like, it's just, you're gonna keep on it forever, and it's just always going to fucking give your brain, like, little fucking, you know, stuff. It's just gonna give you good things to good thoughts to have that are like, wow, that's smart. Fucking what else? World of Warcraft. Same kind of thing with Magic. It's just been around for so long. There's so much to learn. There's so much. World of Warcraft also has, like, fucking social aspect to it, right? Like, you fucking you're social. Like, the players, like, create the experience, and, like, you gain experiences with other people, and they, like, the goals that you have are, like, can be so abstract or so precise, right? I can either be like, I want to kill this enemy today. I need 39 friends to help me do it. Or, I'm talking about, like, classic WoW. Like, yeah, like, retail WoW is that too. But to, in my opinion, a lesser extent, but still very good in different ways. They're different ways. So, like, just, like, like, high, high skill in both knowledge and, like, mechanics, right? You also have to have insane hands. Like, I have a new keyboard. That's why I'm typing bad, okay? You have to have insanely good hands. Like, feeling, like, the actual feeling of controlling StarCraft well with your hands just feels like ultimate mastery of your body, you know? It just feels really fucking good. And, like, constant evolution, right? Constantly evolving. Like, technically, Magic is, there's no mechanics required. The cards need to be put down on the table, but, like, that's it. You just need a pair of hands, literally, to do it. It's entirely mental. But it just, like, requires constant evolution. And then, like, WoW is just, like, social goals as well as, like, in-game goals. And everything in that game serves to make you social, like, is literally socializing. Like, every quest, like, the professions are designed to push you out of the world so that you see other people, so that, like, it drives interaction, both bad and good. Like, it just creates conflict from other humans, which is the best kind. Like, manufactured conflict, ultimately, like, who cares? You're designed to beat it. But, like, it like cycles itself. Like, conflict begets other conflict, and it, like, it's perfect. It's nearly perfect. It's infinite, right? And there's history there, right? Like, if I can remember something that happened. That's what fucking really good-ass games are. And, like, other games that I don't personally like, but still, like, are good, and I can recognize that, are, like League of Legends and, like, shit like that. Like, you can remember, it's a lot like StarCraft, like that, and then, but it's also, like, team aspect, right? Like, you being able to work with a team is really fucking, for some people, it's just really fucking satisfying to be able to communicate perfectly and, like, understand and, like, coordinate more than a person outside of yourself is, like, really fucking good. And then, like, fighting games, right? Like, fighting games are incredibly, like, you know, like, mechanically good, and you're, like, literally, it's a lot like why StarCraft is really good. So you're just literally locked in a battle of instinct versus another person. You need to, like, be better than someone, you know? But, like, that's not something I personally really liked about StarCraft, but it's important too, and it matters. Like, mechanically, like, dense and, like, fucking, what's the word? Like, it's like, like instinctual. Like it's all you don't have time to strategize when you're in the game. It's all like visceral, I guess is the word. Like visceral is that. And like I'm trying to think of like battle royale games. Like battle royales, like what, like when I think of, right, esportiness, right? Because what are all these battle royale games essentially trying to do? Is just be a fucking esport. It's hard for me to see them as trying to be anything else, especially with like the Crown Cup and stuff. Like they're really fun, but like one thing I think that makes a good game, a good esport, a good game that'll last time, like right, like in 2 years, like no one's gonna be playing Apex, they'll be playing a different battle royale, or they won't be playing battle royales at all. Like this game is not what it's not the rock that'll stand the test of time. Like all of these games are. Like, well, maybe not League so much, but like, I mean, it's just that game, not necessarily League, but like the MOBA in general. So I shouldn't say League, but like MOBA. You know, it has that perfect amount of coordination and yourself. Like there's just so much, and like CS:GO, I would even say is, like Counter-Strike is really similar. Just in a different genre, right? You're essentially coordinating 5 people perfectly. That's the whole idea. Is you're just doing that, just in a different, axis of skills, a different subset. Like esportiness, like what makes a good fucking esport that'll stand the test of fucking time? And I guess these like fighting games, right? I didn't even list a specific game. It's just a genre. Fighting games will exist forever. There's literally no way to get away. But like battle royale is like, first of all, it's an FPS, and it's like it's just a subset of FPSs that also have. It's just like it's too narrow because of a few things that I think I've defined that I think make a lot of sense. Like one thing I think a lot of games that stand the test of time, like StarCraft and Magic, is they need a little bit of like what the part that fucking matters, right? Is the part that fucking matters is the fact that I can connect with someone whom I've never met through this game, through StarCraft. If I meet someone in a year from now and they are a big fan of StarCraft, I have a connection with them. We have something to talk about, right? There's historical events, right? There's like, oh, I can't remember, I can't believe that time that Creator beat fucking his own teammate at GSL. Like that was crazy. I can't remember that time Artosis played in like the GSL Open Qualifier, or that time that Huck made like round of 8. And like all my memories are super old, right? But we can talk about something. Like we have context. Like that the NASL, like, oh my god, the sound guy sucked. Oh, wasn't that fun? Oh, that's so crazy. Like there's we have events, right? It's very similar to like real sports. Like, oh shit, my fucking phone has to go off right now. Okay, it's very similar to like real sports, like the shit that makes real sports. Like let's say I was a fan of baseball, right? Like let me shut this off. Let's say I was a fan of baseball, right? Like let's just say I was a fan of let's just say for a second I was a fan of the Seattle Mariners, right? If I was a fan of the Seattle Mariners and I met someone who is also a fan of them, we have stuff to talk about, right? I can talk about the double in 95, 96? I can talk about Ken Griffey Jr., right? We have stuff we can connect over. That serves as the connection through that I can meet other people. You see? Like, before the, like, this is the other person, and then the sport is the thing that connects us together. God, my head, like, gave me pain. Like, oh, fuck. Okay. Here, let me show you. Like, if this is me, and this is the other person, like, we've never met before. Yeah, we could establish connections over something, but, like, that might not happen. That might not work. But all of a sudden, we have, like, sport. We both like sports. So this becomes the thing that we connect through. Does that make sense? So, like, I have something there that I can talk to someone. And if I think about, like, really good esports games, they all have that, right? They have, like, oh man, I can't remember that time Daigo blocked fully perfect parry, Evo moment 43 or whatever. He perfect parried Chun-Li's super and he fucking killed that guy. Like, that's sick. That's amazing. And I remember that time in WoW when some guy, like, joined our guild and he raided our guild bank and he stole all of our stuff and he was such a dick. Or at that time we all banded together to kill Anixia or whatever. Or, we all spent 2 weeks farming out herbs for the for the raid, or we spent, we made a dungeon group and we all were druids and we were the druid gang or something. Like there was events that like we can talk over that happen. I can connect. It like allows me to connect to other people. Essentially, is the important part here, right? Magic the Gathering. Oh man, like, do you remember that last set that came out? That was crazy. They had such those good cards. Or hey, you remember this tournament 7 years ago that had these cool cards in it, and these people playing, and they this match that was super good, or like they have historical context that we can both look at, right? They have another thing that like makes really fucking good esports that stand the test of time is like a little bit of fucking tribalism, like in StarCraft. Oh man, you suck, dude. I play Protoss, you play Zerg. Oh, you're dumb. I hate you. Overlords, what the fuck? That's dumb. Your supply buildings can move. That's crazy. Like fuck Mutalisks, I hate them. Like it gives me something to again like connect with them about. It's I hate this thing. Or in sports, like, oh, you like football team X? I hate that team. I like football team Y, but we both still like football. So like, I hate you, but like I don't really, like. There's a little bit of like you got a little bit of tribalism because that's again that like fuels the shit that fuels the interactions, right? I wouldn't have interacted that person. Maybe I wouldn't have even interacted with them. They also like football, but because they like that team I hate, maybe I'll interact with them. What like the game needs a little bit of fucking tribalism. Like fighting games, you have like Street Fighter, like oh I hate Chun-Li, I love Ken, or like Smash Bros. Like I like Mario, I hate Rob, I hate Ridley or Little Mac or whatever the fuck. Like there's a little bit of tribal. Your favorite character is your tribe, and you meet all your other favorite character mains, and you guys all like touch tips together in the corner in your little subreddit, like. Or like MOBA, like oh I love playing supports. Or that's every good game has one of these aspects. Probably not everything at the same time. Like oh I mean World of Warcraft, they were like there's so much fucking good shit in there. Like please just like learn about. You don't even have to play the game. There's just like the World of Warcraft classes is like the perfect storm of like insane design. Like obviously there's like the Horde and the Alliance. Like they figure this out. Like you need when you're making an MMO. Like why would you even think about adding factions? Like what's the point? Well, the point is to get people to hate each other because that drives interaction, and they can't even communicate. Like and they figure out other ways. Like they will do it. They will figure it out because they want that interaction so bad. And they like, and it's gonna be fucking flavorful. It's gonna be like good and fruitful, and it's gonna like splinter off. Like, oh, we're now going to have another interaction because this guy killed me in Red Ridge, and I was trying to level up, and now I'm gonna get on my 60, and now an entire PvP battleground has spawned in Red Ridge. Like forcing that one interaction forced 70,000 million other interactions. Like God, it's so fucking good. Or like in Magic, oh my favorite color is red, so I play the red spells, and oh you play blue, like fuck you, I hate blue cards, or I like green cards, or like. You can. There's a little bit of tribalism there, like StarCraft, like all these fucking games. Like one thing that essentially like it brought it back to me is just like that fact that you can talk to people about it with fucking battle royale games, like, and this is true of like a lot of like shooters, of modern shooters. I mean, if you get in there and you get your money out, like whatever, that's fine. I'm happy for you. Maybe you weren't trying to make a game that lasted 10, 15 years, then that's fine. Then don't listen to me. Then this criticism is irrelevant to you. But it's just like, that's the shit that I care about deeply. And the reason that I'm here right now, and like, that I will be here, this is I figured that out. This is the reason why I'm fucking here. And that I love this shit so much. Like, it's literally just, I've been doing this for 15 years. I just decided now to turn the camera off, like battle royales, they just don't, like, every game is really, like if I had tribalism in Apex Legends, like, what would I be tribal about? Oh, you like to drop in this one zone? Well, I like to drop in this other zone. Okay, like, oh, that zone sucks. Alright. I can't, or like, what historical event am I gonna, yeah, maybe there's like a tournament, but there was 100 people in that tournament, like, in that PUBG tournament, like, who gives a, it's really tough for, like, you to bond, like, oh, I loved when Dr. Disrespect shot that guy, that was sick. And then he died. Like, like it's just a short-term drama magnet, and it doesn't go anywhere. It sits there and then it there's nothing to it. Like, oh, in Apex, oh, you like Pathfinder? Yeah, he's got his little zippy thing, and it's literally designed that way, like that the abilities aren't supposed to matter that much. They matter a little bit. It's like, oh god, I hate being hit by Gibraltar Shield sometimes, or getting bombed by Bangalore, or getting ziplined. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but also I just get shot most of the time. Like, it's really hard. Like, if I met someone that also liked Apex, I'd be like, cool, that me too. I like when we both jump out of the plane. Like, what are we both gonna link over? You know, like I can't, even if I met him and like, let's say I'll squad up with him and then we'll have fun, right? But like the game is just the vehicle for us to meet, which is like fine. That's almost there. But like, let's say I wanted to interact with someone outside of that, I would have to literally break the rules of the game. Like, right, you can have fun events in Fortnite or whatever, but you literally have to not kill each other so you can have a concert in it. Like, you're literally turning the game off so that you can actually have a civilized interaction or a fun interaction with people. Like, that's, or like, oh, let's all play soccer in the soccer field. Let's literally stop doing what the game it says and do our own thing. We're literally ignoring the game now to have fun. Like, doesn't that sound fucking bonkers to everyone? Like, hello? Like, one thing that you need, like, that to make your game last the test of time is you need people to, like, form familial bonds, you know? Like, these people you need people to feel like your fucking family. And what makes you, like, feel more like with your family is shared trauma, right? Like, if I met, you know, someone in StarCraft or someone and it was like, wow, don't you guys hate it when, like, the Zerg rushes you early, or, like, the Terran comes in your base, or you get cannon rushed and they build bunkers and, like, and they're like, yeah, man, I hate that too. Oh, man, let's learn how to beat that together. Or, like, oh, man, don't you hate it when the fucking, like, let's say you play, like, you know, Chun-Li or something, and you, like, hate all projectile characters. You, like, you meet another Chun-Li main, and that's what you bond over, you know? Like, I hate fucking Ken and Ryu, and they shoot their damn-ass fireballs, or fucking, you know, Dhalsim, and he can, like, punch you from really far away. I don't know. You know, like, there's that shit. Or, like, League of Legends, like, man, don't you hate it when you don't even have to be the same character. You're like, man, I hate Teemo. Or, like, you know, we can join over stuff we hate. So you can bond over stuff you love. Like, so, like, you know, shared tribe, again, like, with tribalism. Or you can bond over stuff you hate. Like, stuff that sucked. That the game had to give you something that sucked so you could bond over it. Like, that like, again, like, WoW Classic, like, you know, I'll bond with a guild because I'll need their help so that I can stop getting ganked in Redridge, and then I'll bond with them, and then I'll be indebted to them, and I'll give them herbs and stuff, and then they'll like me, and then they'll invite me to the raids. Like, there's so, like, every interaction's like, I could talk about it forever. Like, all this shit is just, like, so fucking important to your game. Like, Battle Royale games, like, what the fuck is different from one game to the next? Like, I just land and I look at the ground and I press E a bunch of times, and then I shoot some mans, and then I probably die. Like, the first, like, there's no way to, you know, there's no, like, seasonal stuff. There's no, like, if I were to meet, let's say we were still playing Apex in 5 years, and I met someone, and I was playing year one, and I describe a game that I played year one of the game coming out, it would sound identical to the game in year 5, like, with Fortnite. Yeah, the guns were a little bit different. Like, I think Fortnite is actually getting this a little better. They're, like, you know, intentionally, like, breaking stuff for, like, a couple months so that people, like, can remember that, and then they fix it, you know? Like, oh, man, remember when airplanes were crazy? Or remember when the shotgun meta, or, like, the double shotgun meta, or, like, the double pump, or whatever it's called? Like, that was, like, now people have that bonding thing. Like, they figured that out. Like, you need to break the game a little bit so people get kind of, they have something, you know, to grab onto, because otherwise the game is what the fuck ever. Like, every game is essentially, like, a slot machine. Like, there's nothing, the game doesn't give me anything. Like, you gotta understand, like, nerds are really fucking, like, bad at socializing, and you gotta give them something to socialize over. I mean, that's not your point is to be fun, ultimately, but, like, which Apex is, so, like, there's something I'm not, you know? But, like, fuck, man, like, that's what'll make good shit. You guys need this. Battle Royales, like, Apex, like, you need this shit. You need this stuff. You need other stuff, too. Like, it's gotta be pretty, and it's gotta look good. Obviously, like, no one's gonna play your game if it looks like shit and controls like shit. That's another thing, too, like, esportiness. Like, it just gotta, like, you gotta give players ways to show off, like, how good they are. You have to make the skill, like, you gotta have high skill. Like, there's really no fucking way around it. Like, you could watch competitive dice rolling, but, like, who gives a fuck? Like, there's no, dice roller A and dice roller B aren't doing anything different. They're just fucking rolling dice. Like, you gotta have a high skill gap. There's really just no fucking way around it. And all these games try to hide the fact that there isn't a high skill gap. They're trying to like trick you. Like, oh yeah, this one says ults, and if you ult at the right time, you'll win. But also, if that other player ults, like, you won't win anymore. So, you know, like, it's all just like, you know, spiky. Like, oh, I went from doing just okay to like now I'm insane, and now I'm back down. Like, you're just supposed to ride the wave of those spikes all the way up to the next spike. Like, you know, what the fuck? Like, here you go, man. Like, this shit just makes me want to play, you know, Magic or something. Like, I love diving into shit that's like, deep, that you can get into forever and you can learn. Well, like, if I'm playing another 5,000 matches of Apex, like, yeah, I'll learn stuff about, like, design, but the game won't. The game isn't doing that. I'm doing that. I didn't do it because I wanted to uncover this deep puzzle box of lore and story, and, like, think of it for new players, too. Like, if I'm a new player, what's bringing me to Apex over any other fucking, or PUBG, or, like, I'll just play any battle royale. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe I'll pick one because it's a little faster or slower, but, like, if I go to StarCraft, like our StarCraft right now, like, keep in mind, don't do that. Well, don't do that right now. Someone really famous in the StarCraft community passed away. But like, if I go into Magic or StarCraft or whatever, there's stories. Like, I can be like, hey, I just started playing this game. Like, what the fuck? Well, like, what's going on? And they'll be like, listen, and people will like want to tell you, like, hey man, check this shit out. This shit was really dope from like 5 or 6 years ago. The game's kind of like that still, but like, you know, look at this look at these stories and these heroes and these legends. Like, you gotta build it's almost like a religion, you know? You gotta build, like, your fucking narrative. You gotta build a narrative. You gotta let the game have a story to go with it that's made by the people that play it. Like, you know? What stories about Apex Legends can I tell you other than, like, some guy you know, who plays it all the time is good at it, and he got a lot of money, you know? That's what you fucking need. You need narrative. You need story. You need shit. So, anyway. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna play a couple games of Apex. But, like, every time I do, it reminds me of how much other games are better. And I think this was good. This was, like, I wanted to learn why. Why the fuck is that? And, yeah, man. There you go. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something here to this. Like, obviously it's popular. That's part of it. Like, you gotta be popular. You need other people. That's a fact. Battle Royales, like, have some of this stuff, just, like, not a lot of it. You need more. I don't know. There's probably more to this. Whatever. That's my fucking rant. So, girl, play me something.
Oh, good for you! And how was it?
Shut up, man. I thought those were pretty good points, dude. I don't know. I thought they were pretty sweet. Fucking asshole.
What's your
Alright. You're right. Okay. I'm gonna close this. We're gonna get back to the game. Don't save.